Hi, my name is Hunter Holmes, and today I will be presenting on the fraud of FTX that just recently happened in 2022. FTX was a cryptocurrency exchange. That was their business model and their business type. Their business model was working like a stock exchange, but primarily focused on cryptocurrency. It turned out they worked more as an IOU, and that's why it all became a scam. Here are some internal documents of FTX. Since they filed for bankruptcy, it became really hard to find a lot of these internal documents, but I found a balance sheet from 2022 which stated they made over 1 billion in revenue just that year. There's a court case at the bottom right along with the bankruptcy details in there. The court case was filed in December of 2022. That's when Sam Bankman-Fried, who was the CEO of the company, had started his court filings for what would later lead to his arrest. Some factual background stats about FTX was that it was founded in 2019, super not that long time ago. And by 2021, the company has already surpassed over 1 million users. By 2022, the company had become worth over 32 billion total dollars. That's how much total assets they had in their little Ponzi scheme system. This all came quickly crashing down in 2022 when they had become exposed for running a Ponzi scheme and not actually having the money to pay all these users back. Basically, the rug got pulled from them, and everyone asked for their money back at the same time, and this led to them not being able to have the funds to do so. The issue at hand here, I have a YouTube video on explaining why it is a Ponzi scheme, and we'll play it now.
Bankman-Fried. People call him SBF. He's the founder of FTX. He also controls this is Sam Bankman-Fried. People call him SBF. He's the founder of FTX. He also controlled a crypto hedge fund called Alameda Research, but that's all gone now. He wants you to think he's this sweet guy. He even brought in a famous YouTuber who called him the most generous man in the world. Yep, that happened. Truth is, Sam Bankman-Fried is a liar and a crook. His personal crypto FTX token was basically a Ponzi scheme hidden below layers of Moonbro jargon. He even went on Bloomberg's podcast and bragged about it. Yep, that happened. He used his Ponzi token as collateral to borrow billions of real dollars that he couldn't pay back. He then used those real dollars to build an empire out of dying companies like Voyager and BlockFi. This led Jim Cramer to call him the new JP Morgan. That's weird. It's not like Jim Cramer to promote a billionaire con artist. SBF sold people cryptos like Bitcoin, or so they thought. What they really bought from SBF was an IOU. But as long as everyone didn't cash in their IOU at the same time, the scheme worked. Until it didn't. This other a-hole who hates SBF came along and engineered a bank run with some passive-aggressive tweets. It worked. SBF didn't have enough money to repay everyone at once, and now his customers have lost everything. He'll be happy to know that this is exactly how every bank in the world operates. So where did all the money go? He misappropriated $4 billion trying to save his failing hedge fund. Whoops, that's a felony. He spent $21 million on Super Bowl commercials, $5 million for the big guy, $40 million in campaign donations. I wonder what he wanted in return. And everyone who's pointing at this story and saying,
"This is exactly why we need to regulate crypto."
Remember that SBF stole billions. That's already a crime. And he spent a lot of it on bribing politicians. Also a crime. In order to create a crypto monopoly for himself. Government regulations don't protect the customers. They protect the crooks. That's exactly what SBF was trying to do.
So I hope that video helped explain pretty fast on how this whole Ponzi scheme worked. I think it was super hard to find a super small video that I could fit into a presentation, but I actually think that video did a really good job in explaining from start to finish kind of what happened in a short way. The application of PPT, the law that they broke was illegal use of assets. They had over billions of dollars of total assets used in their accounts, and they just used it on investing for themselves. And they used it to pump up their token. And basically, at the end, they didn't have enough money to pay people back. And he used other people's money, and he wanted to invest in. He took other investors' money as well and used it on himself, buying separate houses and private jets and all that kind of stuff, and basically just lied about the actual just holding of the money. When everyone had tried to pull out their money at the same time, he didn't have enough money to pay everyone back. Not necessarily he, but his company. So it does fall back on him since he is the CEO. But this is obviously him breaking the law because the whole contracts of the company state like this is basically a stock exchange and you can't just take people's money like that. This is completely against moral ethics because he literally stole billions of dollars from people. He was on the Forbes top 100 list, like youngest billionaire of all time, all this kind of stuff, just basically off of a scam. positive business trajectory. The people that were impacted the most by this action were the people who had savings and money stolen from them. So basically, a lot of people during 2020-ish era, 2021, were putting money in crypto and stuff. And whether that's a smart thing or not, that's up for someone else to debate. But they had maybe even put their whole life savings into it, and that's not a smart thing to do. But now they've lost all of that money, and there's basically nothing that they can do anymore. And a culture issue at hand, I think, is that in reality, you can't really fully trust anyone with your money. I think you have to be really careful and do thorough background checks before choosing a bank and whatnot, because this guy spent millions and millions of dollars on Super Bowl commercials. He had tons of famous celebrities doing ads like Tom Brady and stuff like that. And basically, I think you need to do thorough research before you put thousands and even in some cases millions of dollars into an account. And he had absolutely zero integrity and honesty with all the businesses he was running, and he was stealing everyone's money, including investors. My conclusion and follow-up is FTX officially filed for bankruptcy on November 11, 2022. This is after everything had come crashing down, and it was probably the biggest media news cycle. SBF pleaded guilty on 2 counts of wire conspiracy fraud, and he ended up being sentenced to 25 years in prison. And most people absolutely did not get their money back, and they probably will never get their money back. So, it's absolutely terrible, and he's just a terrible human being who did not follow good business ethics. And these are my sources. Thank you, guys.